think that one thing that Rakaya said that I'll repeat is that it will take everyone to deal with this issue. That this did not occur in a vacuum, and we basically as a society created conditions which led to what we're seeing now. So they say if you have a pond and a fish dies in the pond and it rises to the top and floats and it's dead, and you say, man, I wonder what happened to this fish. But if 50 fish die and float to the top, you have to ask what's wrong with the pond. And I believe that we've made decisions that have led us to the place where we are today. And some of those decisions, we've started a new initiative called Neighborhoods United. And Neighborhoods United is uniting all 52 of our neighborhoods on issues. We're working on this particular issue now. We were initially working on essentially gentrification, but for the moment, this issue is taking precedence. It's just, people are dying. I mean, it's life and death. It's, you know, as horrible as gentrification is, people being killed, you just have to make that a priority. I mean, it's just naturally a priority. So, another thing that Rakaya said that is important is that it's not the guns. And a lot of anti-gun advocates or whatever will tell you it's the guns. But if you look around the world, Rwanda, how did 1.5 million people die in Rwanda? Machetes. Scotland. What are they dealing with? They're dealing with knives. I'm not saying we don't need gun reform, because we do. That's a whole different issue, though. That's a whole different issue. I have been, I guess you could say I chose a rough childhood or whatever. And I know that nothing could, the whole thing, just say no. I mean, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. And then cops. Hire more cops. It doesn't work. Down on Lynn Street, they had a murder, like where the Art Consortium used to be, near Washburn. The cops were responding to a murder there. The news cameras were out. This was at noon. 2 blocks away on Lynn Street in front of Stanley Road, there were 2 more murders. Cops don't reduce crime. They respond to crime. Sorry, cops. I mean, they have a job to do, but their job isn't prevention. And prevention is the only thing that will work. And it has to be a holistic approach. So, I'll go quickly here. We've made decisions as a society, as a city, and they've had consequences. We decided to take away funding from poor kids. You know, and this is over a generation of time. I mean, my mom, I learned to walk at City Hall. My mom, I was being toted around as a child. And we had support for youth. We had support for teenage mothers. We were spending city dollars on helping youth at one time. And, 20 years ago, they started defunding it. So we aren't funding at-risk youth. And what is an at-risk youth? What are they at risk of? They're at risk of a society that doesn't give a crap about them. That's what they're at risk of. People who have created conditions that have led to them being, why are we neglecting and ignoring poor baby girls and poor baby boys in places like Cummonsville and Avondale? To me, it's just very crystal clear what causes gun violence. Because there's no gun violence, and nor has there been in my 54 years of existence in Hyde Park. Are there kids shooting each other on the streets in Madeira, Indian Hill, Mount Lookout? So on a national level, what's changed in these last 20 years, or 30 years, say 20, a couple decades, was that we've eliminated the safety net. We had a safety net. Remember welfare? Remember Bill Clinton? I love Bill Clinton, but he brought us mass incarceration. No, adult members of the family, 1 out of 3 now in the African American community are either on probation, on parole, or in prison. Males. Hope 6, remember Hope 6? Killed public housing, eliminated thousands of people from the West End. Thousands. Welfare as we knew it ended. Suddenly, single mothers had to work. Why would you force a single mother of little kids to work? It's not good for the kids. NAFTA took away our manufacturing jobs. GM closed. And then locally, we defunded CCY, which was an organization that helped thousands and thousands and thousands of predominantly African American youth in our city. If you go to some gathering of African Americans in our city, of people over 40, and you say, who here went through CCY? A majority of the people will raise their hand, because CCY led people to lead successful lives because they cared about the youth. They had 9 satellite locations throughout the city. They watched over kids. They cared about the kids. They made sure that they were on the right path. They made sure they had goals and were achieving them. And what we've done and what we've spent our money on is down here, downtown, $1 billion. We just paid $200 million to the stadium. We have put $1.5 billion easy city money into Over the Rhine. And Over the Rhine could have been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. It could have had cottage industries and employing African American people from the community. It could have had affordable housing. It could have had low-income condos. It could have had, but instead of the beloved community that could have been, it's now a homogenized, upper crust, white, hipster paradise. We've made choices as a society, and what we're seeing as a result of our choices. That's my belief. And so what we've done is we've had a few meetings with Neighborhoods United, and we've had, I don't know, 100 people in attendance. And we've broken into groups, and we've identified 6 areas, which it's not magical, it's just the number that the group has come up with, areas that we have to address. And we're going to publish it and take it to the city and the state and other entities and expect implementation and funding for like reinstating CCY and things of that nature. The 6 areas that we've identified, which we're open to increasing or changing or whatever, but the 6 areas, so they've broken into 6 committees. So when people walk in the room, they're walking into one of these 6 committees. It's health, which includes physical health, mental health, everything it takes to be a healthy person. Economics, obviously gun violence is strongly economic. I mean, if we ended the drug war, we would see a dramatic reduction in gun violence. If we erase poverty, we'd see a dramatic reduction in gun violence. Youth and parental support, cultural, spiritual, and what? Mother, do you remember?
Social.
And social. She's on that committee. Law enforcement and education. And we have in the room, and you all are welcome to come. The next meeting is on October the 10th, and then the next meeting after that is on October the 24th, at both of them at 6:30 at the West End YMCA, which is at 1425 Lynn Street. And we have in the room police officers. We have in the room people like Mitch, who are city responders and work in the community with youth, like the Lighthouse, like a lot of other organizations that are in the room, teachers, students, those affected by gun violence, sadly, the families of people who have been murdered. And so we're very serious and very strong about the direction that we feel this needs to go, because our city doesn't have a plan. They don't really have a plan. I mean, they're certainly not addressing these areas in any serious way. I mean, they're choosing to, we choose how, our budget, we choose how we spend our money, and they're not spending it in ways that will reduce gun violence. And I'll just pass it on over to Mitch.